No dog sold or raised for illegal purposes. This is a historical and entertainment-based channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, yeah. Episode 43, yeah. Yeah. A look at Tank and Sanity. A deeper look at the strong arm dogs. Have you ever heard of Grand Champion Mavelli? Let us analyze the evidence on this episode of Bulldog Court. Bulldog community, please rise. This is your host, Get a Hold James, because we got to get a hold of the game.
Court is now in session.
Oh, yeah. This is your boy, Get a Hold James, because we got to get a hold of the game. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me tonight. You could have been anywhere else in the Bulldog streets, but you decided to come kick it with your boy. And I'm so happy that you did. You underdid. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on last week's episode 42 of Bulldog Court. And right after, we tiptoed over to the Bulldog Court after show with King T, the young legend, Pressure Kennel Combine, my other half of the Cap Brothers. We talk a little cap and cap the night off with some cap. In the midst of captivity, you underdig. You know, talking about all the topics that we talked about, the cases from last week. I'd like to thank everybody who joined in during Bulldog Court and the live version. I really appreciate that. Y'all kicking it with your boy. Shout out to Nonstop and the Honorable J-Bo on their show on Thursday. Excellent show. The show on Sunday. Excellent show. Talking about the scatterbred dogs and their potential producing power or lack thereof in that particular subject matter. I appreciate them boys for putting on the way that they putting on, and I want them to keep putting on. You understand? So I'm not gonna hold your time, but I must say first, before I even begin, that I am not the judge nor jury, for it is up to you, the Bulldog community, to decide which way the tide may roll. So let us not prolong the time. We're going to get into our first case. For my first case, a look at Tank and Sanity. Now, you may not understand what I mean when I say that, but this is a thing that I was just curious about that just came to my mind about. I remember, you know, I'm sorry if, you know, people feel some kind of way the way I reference Bulldog with Bo, one of my favorite shows that I watch in the Bulldog Talk Streets. And I remember J-Bo talking about the Jeep Red Boy Rascal Cross and how it's so few grand champions, but there are many champions of the Jeep Red Boy Rascal Cross. I mean, just too many to even name on the show. I could take up the whole show, probably an hour-long show, just naming all the champions and 4-time winners of the past that were of Jeep Red Boy Rascal origin. So that led me down a wormhole of looking at, okay, well, how many actual Jeep Red Boy grand champions were there? And 2 came to mind, and I proposed this question to the Bulldog community because maybe you can help me out with this.
Help me!
But the only 2 was Tomcats Grand Champion Tank and the dog called Pit Stops Grand Champion Sanity. Those were the first two I know that came to my mind, and I could not think of any more who were straight Jeep Red Boy, but were grand champions. A straight Jeep Red Boy grand champion. And it didn't necessarily have to be a 50-50 or whatever. Just straight Jeep, Jeep Red Boy. And so it just led me down a wormhole of thinking about, okay, well, let's start with the two-way cross and see how many grand champions did that produce, and did the rascal that was added later take away from that. But it was pretty much about the same. At least I could find two, but it's very few grand champion Jeep Red Boy rascal dogs. So
hey bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
This is just something that I was looking into. Do you know of any other grand champion Jeep Red Boy dogs? Because I couldn't think of any others. It's just something that I'm proposing, a wormhole that I went down, and I thought it would be an interesting case to cover and to look at these animals. I believe, of course, Grand Champion Tank is off of Jeep, bred to Marlowe's Fanny, and I believe that Grand Champion Sanity is off of Pit Stops Red, bred to Pit Stops Supercharger. And I know, Supercharger's out of the famous, WCC's Rocky and Ronnie breeding. Pit Stop Red, of course, off of Hunter Red, pure Red Boy dog. So this is just something I wanted to touch on. I wanted to cover, and I wanted people to look at as far as how we may be looking at, the grand champion debate when it comes to the Jeep Red Boy rascal, and then looking at the Jeep Red Boy, that two-way, throw many champions as well. It just, I don't know what about that blood to where it does not have the same lineup of grand champions as some of the other lines or three-way crosses like a Red Boy Jocko Jeep or the Red Boy Jocko, where there is just grand champion after grand champion, and they just continue to produce and reproduce itself to a certain extent. And it had its run. And Jeep Red Boy, and along with Jeep Red Boy Rascal, has been the catalyst for many different bloodlines down the line to produce a great deal of winners. But I'm just only talking about that two-way, the Jeep Red Boy side. If you know any other grand champions that were straight Jeep Red Boy, please put them in the chat, in the live version, or in the Bulldog Court, premiere, because those are just the two that I could think of at the time. I really was going off the top of the dome. I kind of looked into a few different areas that I thought I might be able to look into and find quickly the grand champions that were of Jeep Red Boy origin only, but maybe you can find some others that I missed. So for the case of a look at Tank and Sanity, this case is now dismissed. We'll get back to the show after these important messages.
Check out one of the best dog talk shows out here, Bulldoggin' with Bo, on Dogman TV, Thursdays and Sundays, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Shout out to his co-host, Nonstop.
Oh, yeah. And for my second case, a deeper look at the strong arm dog. Let us look into this. If you've never heard of the strong arm dogs, let me go into it. You might have to do your own due diligence on this, but it's two strong arm dogs that I would like to cover and to look into and to propose some questions to the Bulldog community concerning the strong arm dogs. That's if you've ever heard of the strong arm dogs. One strong arm dog in particular is Strong Arm's Champion Bull. Champion Bull was off of Crenshaw's Hunter Red and Tally's Missy. Missy was off of Champion Finley's Bully. Bully was off Finley's Bow, of course, and Finley's Duchess. You know, a host Jeremiah female. Eli R. Smithsy, Bullison R. Smithsy dog. Bred into some more Finley's Bow, Crenshaw's Poly type stuff. The bottom side is, you know, Smith's Georgia Brown. I believe that's Thomas Smith, Georgia Brown. So, some well-known, very durable blood on the bottom side. Heavy Finley's Bow blood on the bottom. No Jeep. Heavy bow. So you can kind of say this a red boy bulldog. You know, some rare air indeed, you know, with the honey bunch. Of course, you know, Crenshaw's Champion Poly, on the Georgia Brown side is Finley's Bow bred to Crenshaw's Champion Poly. Poly is out of Rascal, bred to Honey Bunch. So some of the same ingredients that make up Jeep with a little touch, you know, with a little added flavor of the Rascal blood, you know, and the, some more Eli, through the host Jeremiah, which is off of Bullison, and R. Smithsy, that's the sire of the Duchess female that was bred to Finley's Bow. So just some off kilter, unorthodox, you know, not your usual run of the mill type of red boy bow crossings. Instead of saying Jeep red boy, a little twist to it. You know, same recipe, different type dogs. So just to look at this pedigree is, you know, somewhat of an anomaly in the Jeep red boy, you know, multiplex as far as that dual threat of the Jeep red boy and then the trifecta of the Jeep red boy Rascal. You will see certain types of anomalies, you know, certain off kilter unorthodox breedings such as the Strong Arms Champion Bull, which is not quite a Jeep dog, but has much of the same ingredients, like I was saying. And so, another one that I would like to cover is Strong Arms Champion Yellowstone. Now, Yellowstone was out of Garrett's Floyd or Chan's Pretty Boy Floyd, same dog, you know, which is off of Jeep, you know, a double bred son of Jeep, and bred to a female called Hard Times Helen, which is off of a Peaks dog. This was, you know, some of the stuff that I believe Thomas Peaks had before he had the Rodriguez Gator dogs. He had heavy Chavo Candy, you know, type dogs like this. So Peaks T Red is off of Davis's Champion Chavo, bred to Grand Champion Candy, Hands Grand Champion Candy. And then you got on the bottom of that is Peaks Bobby Sue, which is off of Champion Peaks and Cox Sluggo, which is off of Holcomb's Champion Josie. That's the late Irish Jerry, you know. So basically bred to Woods Missy, which is heavy pool hall red type stuff. Bred to Peaks Winky, and Winky is, you know, just simply some more Davis Chavo Midnight Cowboy type blood, you know, a little bit of Sash and Bloody Sunday, throw it in there for good measure. But basically a Jeep Eli Carver dog, a well-bred animal if you ask me, although I have heard some things concerning this dog and some controversies behind this animal. Nevertheless, you know, there were dogs that came down from this stuff way down the line, such as dogs like a dog by the name they call Freaky Pete, you know, dog OZ, you know, people in that Florida area, you know, the North Florida, Jacksonville area may know about some of those animals, Freaky Pete, the OZ dog, etc., who come down off of some of the old strong arm dogs, produce well with good catalysts to go into the Boils dogs and other different lines. You know, they use them different ways. So, have you heard or seen any strong arm dogs? I like to hear what you have to say about these animals. I like for you to do your own due diligence and look at some of the offspring, you know, and maybe we could discuss some of the animals that came down off of it, maybe that you've seen, maybe that you've heard about on down the line. But I just wanted to touch on these animals because I don't think these animals get their flowers. I don't think they get a light put on them. And you just don't see these type of animals bred in this way every day. You know, of course we see a lot of, you know, Paulie's Fire and other dogs that are very heavy, Pretty Boy Floyd dogs, of today, but none bred in the way that Yellowstone was bred, and none bred, you know, you see the traditional Jeep Red Boy Rascal dogs, but I don't think you see a dog bred in the way that Champion Bull was bred. I think somebody said, my understanding, that Bull, you know, may have been bred by, or Mike Wilder, the late Mike Wilder, and the Tennessean may have had something to do with the breeding, or Mike Wilder himself may have had something to do with the breeding of the Champion Bull dog. But nevertheless, outstanding animal, well-bred animal. I look forward to seeing your comments, because, you know, some of it could be, you know what I'm saying, another case of the capitalistiousness. You know what I mean? The Capathon is ongoing, and you know, just like long distance Kenyan runners, we'll never run out of gas when it comes to the cap. You know, but I'm look forward to hearing your comments. So for the case of a deeper look at the strong arm dogs, this case is now dismissed. Oh yeah. And for my third and final case, have you ever heard of Grand Champion Mavelli? You know, this might have to turn into a missing dog report, missing in action dog report.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
When we look back in
come
history
on, man,
at Grand Champion Mavelli, or Iron Warrior and Zoo Kennels, Grand Champion Mavelli, we seeing a dog that is bred, if you understand his pedigree, bred very, very impressively. His bottom side is a lot of, you know, the Halls, Miss Whistle, which is the Champion Brujo, Rock Crusher, you know, dogs of this nature had brothers, sisters down off of stuff like that, bred into the R Gangs Champion Adam and R Gangs Ninja, which is some, you know, could be some Satch and Bloody Sunday with a little bit of the old Midnight Cowboy through the Happy Jack blood, which I have covered on a previous case about whatever happened to that blood. And the top side being heavy, you know, Rascal, Havana Boys type breedings, you know, when they were breeding into the Rebel Kennel stuff, which is some more heavy Jeep, Honey Bunch, Rascal type stuff. So very much a very heavy Eli bred male, but just like I say, I guess you could say the overall arching theme of this episode of Bulldog Court is the unorthodox breedings of certain significant dogs in history. And like I said, a very impressive dog in every way. His 5 wins, the times on those wins look like your local winning lottery numbers. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Look like a bunch of lottery numbers. Nothing went past the hour mark. And you won in 26, 28, 42, 20, and 47 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You can hit the jackpot off those lottery numbers right there. Winning at a 42. And impressive animal who went into what was said some very impressive competition in those days. But missing in action, the people who have that kind of stuff, maybe they hung on to it. Maybe some people can give further, a further ending to this story. Is really an unsolved mystery as to whatever happened to the dog, how he produced the different offspring, and just whatever happened to him. A dog with that impressive of a resume, those impressive lottery numbers. I like to keep saying that, the lottery numbers. But there were some people who were saying years back that those dogs were kept close to the hip. The people that had those dogs didn't really sell dogs and didn't let people get access to those animals. So that may be the case with this. But have you ever seen any one of those dogs in the past? Did you ever get a chance to see him? Maybe, and just looking at these animals and just asking questions to the Bulldog community. Like I say, another one that is very rare to find his pedigree in a dog, and very rare to have a dog bred like that. So I just wanted to touch on this. And for the case of, have you ever heard of Grand Champion Mavelli? This case is now dismissed. Yeah. And now it's time for my closing monologue. Like I say every time, make your next move your best move, but move strategic like a chess move. There come a time in every dog man life when he gotta choose his path and stay the course. He gotta choose what family he wanna go with, and he gotta choose how he wanna stay in the course. Make sure you choose the right one and stick with it. This is your host, Get a Hope James, because we got to get a hold of the game. I'm out.
Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and tell a dogman or woman about the Sporting Dog Archive.